With the first home buyer grant doubled.
First home buyer grant from $15,000 to $30,000.
Queensland's first home owner grant will double in an attempt to help at least 12,000 people break into the housing market.
Last Sunday, groundbreaking news came out. Brisbane, Queensland has doubled its first home owner grant. The grant, previously set at $15,000, has now been increased to $30,000, effective now until the end of June 2025. It's expected to offer 12,000 spots with a total value of $360 million. Now, Queensland's first home owner grant is triple that of New South Wales and Victoria. The reason for Queensland's generous grant is its considerable fiscal surplus from coal royalty in recent years, which has now been reinvested to support the people of Queensland. Sydney and Melbourne wouldn't do the same, simply because the governments don't have the funds, especially the Victorian government. Let's first examine the specifics of the first home owner grant, its conditions and eligibility, and then analyze its impact on Queensland's housing market. What properties will be most affected, and the once-in-a-lifetime investment opportunities available to property investors. Hey there, my name is Alex. Welcome to my channel, where I share information about real estate investment, economic trends, and wealth creation. If you like this video, smash the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell to watch new weekly videos. Without further ado, let's get into it. Let's start with the most important question. How can someone qualify for this $30,000 grant?
Must be your first home, a brand new property or a new build, and it all, land included, must be valued at less than $750,000.
Queensland Government's official website has detailed information, but if you don't want to go through the hassle, let me offer you a straightforward and logical interpretation. Number 1, you must be an Australian citizen or permanent resident over 18 years of age. If the couple is buying, only one needs to be a citizen or permanent resident. You're ineligible if you've previously received a first home owner grant in any Australian state or territory. Neither party should have owned a home in any Australian state or territory. However, if both have held investment properties they've never lived in, purely for investment purposes, the grant still applies. Number 2, you must purchase a new home valued at under $750,000. Second-hand homes are entirely ineligible. If it's a completed home, it must never have been sold before and still be under the developer's name. Eligible properties include off-the-plan purchases like apartments, standalone houses, duplexes, and townhouses. House and land packages with double contracts are also eligible. If you've previously bought a vacant land lot and now wish to build a new home, that's eligible too. One interesting new aspect is that building a granny flat in the backyard of a relative's house qualifies. This granny flat can be traditionally constructed or prefabricated and then placed in the backyard. So why not just build a granny flat for your child to live in and save their first homeowner spot? It's not rational to me, but if any of you understand, please leave a comment below. For single contract properties, the contract price must be below $750,000. For dual contract house and land packages, the combined price of both contracts must be under $750,000. Number 3, after the property transaction is completed, you must move in within a year and stay there for 6 months. The key here is understanding what completed transaction means for different types of properties and determining the exact timing of this completed transaction. There are 3 critical times concerning the Queensland's first home owner grant. For brand new properties or single contract off-the-plan purchases, including apartments, standalone houses, duplexes, and townhouses, the completed transaction is when your name appears on the title deed. To apply for the grant for such properties, you need to provide the purchase contract and documents with ownership proof, like a registration confirmation statement or a title search. For dual contract house and land packages, a completed transaction is when the final inspection certificate or occupation certificate is obtained. Number 2, application time. For new properties or single contract off-the-plan purchases, applications must be submitted within a year after moving in. For dual contract house and land packages, the application must be made within a year after the final inspection certificate is issued. Number 3, grant disbursement time. The method of application through the Queensland Government or a bank determines when you receive the grant. If applying through a bank or lending institution for brand new property or single contract off-the-plan purchase, the grant is disbursed at settlement. Typically, you apply through the bank handling your loan, and the funds are transferred to the bank's account. For dual contract house and land packages, the grant is disbursed when the first bank loan payment for construction is made. However, there seems to be a contradiction here. The guidelines suggest applying for the grant when the final inspection certificate is done, indicating near completion of the house. But then it mentioned that the grant can be received at the early stages of construction. I couldn't find an explanation for this contradiction. If anyone understands this, please leave a comment below. If applying directly through the Queensland government, the grant is only received after the house is fully constructed. So if you have a loan, apply through your lending institution. If not, apply directly to the Queensland government. The timing for receiving the funds is approximately the same in both cases. For single contract properties, price changes are generally not an issue. However, for house and land packages, prices may change. The land price is typically fixed as per the contract, but building costs can vary. Since the pandemic, we've experienced a rise in material and labor costs. Although prices have stabilized now, theoretically between signing the building contract and the commencement of building, prices can change. For instance, if you bought a house and land package for $749,000 and before construction starts, the builder increases the price by $2,000 for replacement floorboards, bringing the total over $750,000. You could lose the eligibility for the $30,000 first home owner grant. Of course, there are ways to navigate these issues. If the price increase is significant, like $20,000 to $30,000, you might consider settling the extra cost privately without ordering the original building contract. For smaller amounts, like a few $1,000s, consult the real estate agent selling the property to see if the additional cost can be managed through their channels. These strategies are often used under the table. To meet the 6 months residency requirement within the first year, some people put utility bills in their names while renting out the property for cash, thus meeting the residency requirement. I'm always asked if this is feasible. Yes, if you don't get caught. Just like any offense, please just don't do these tricks. Following the rules is the simplest way to deal with any issue. What impact will doubling the first home owner grant have on Queensland's property market? Simply put, price increase.
There was 60 years of evidence that grants led to increased house prices.
Australian economists said that historically, whenever housing subsidies are provided, the prices of subsidised properties skyrocket. This aligns with Aus Property Strategy's observations of the Australian housing market over the past decades. First home owner grants, each time they are introduced, have sparked a property buying frenzy. A recent example is the Home Builder Grant introduced in New South Wales, Sydney in early 2021, which directly drove up house and land prices. The impact of Queensland's grant on the market will be no exception. New homes under $750,000, including single contract off-the-plan purchases and especially house and land packages, are expected to surge in price. For instance, properties under $700,000 can see developers and builders raise prices by $30,000, and there will still be plenty of buyers. Experience and observation may not convince everyone, especially those who are skeptical and demand scientific evidence. A Deakin University academic paper studied the impact of the single factor of first home owner grant on housing prices from 2000 to 2010. The conclusion was that the average house price increase attributable to the first home owner grant was $57,321. Remember, this is in the context of the average house prices in Australia in 2000. The first home owner grant correlates positively with the house price increases and loan volume increases, but not with the supply. This means the grant causes house prices and loan volumes to rise without significantly increasing the housing supply. Thus, the demand pressures translates to price increases. I think this makes the situation quite clear. In my view, Queensland's first home owner grant will primarily drive up prices of house and land packages. Other property types like granny flats, house rebuilds, and single contract off-the-plan properties have a lower market share. According to official statistics from 2015 to 2022, the majority of grants were awarded to properties in Brisbane Council and Redland City Council. Now the average property prices in these councils has already surpassed the $750,000 threshold. Considering various regions, Ipswich and Logan are likely to be the areas most boosted by the policy. Moreton Bay is also a good region, but local protectionism makes it difficult for investors to enter the market. If you've made it this far, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and share this with your friends. Turn on the notification bell to watch new weekly videos. Have a good one. Bye-bye.